Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games Cinemax. This is episode 483, and we are once again with a full house here as we're talking Resident Evil Requiem. No spoilers. Randy has already beaten the game in a weekend. Marc is significantly less further than than Randy is, but still going to give us impressions. And I have not been able to play it yet. I did get to finish one on reviews, which that's good. But we'll get into all that, plus the more on the Xbox side of things, more on the Bluepoint side of things. What could they have possibly pitched Sony to try to stay alive? And is it even true? And we'll also discuss some other things going on with PlayStation. Could there be another God of War game coming out this year? A Red Octane's trying again with the rhythm game genre. We'll see if this one actually sticks. And there's a bunch more things to talk about here. So we'll get into all that and more right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right, so yes, let's go ahead. Since it's been a couple weeks. Marc reminded me of doing the housekeeping. So just in case this is your first time listening, or even if it's your 100th time listening, we do appreciate whether you check us out live, which we do the show on Mondays around 9:30 ish Eastern time. You know, for Randy, that's 3 hours less over there on the Pacific side of things. Or you can, if you subscribe to the channel, W2 Network on YouTube, you'll know when we go live. You can, subscribe, like, follow, ring that bell. You can even adjust the notifications so you only get stuff for us and not the other lovely shows that we have on there. But I know not everybody likes the other, other things. You just like video games, and that's it, and that's fine. But if you do happen to like other things aside from video games, you can't get enough of us. We have other shows on the network as well. So if you like anime, we got Otaku Cafe. They do a great job reviewing all the weekly, seasonally anime, and they do that every week, and they go in depth about it and do a great job on that. So definitely go check them out, whether it's on podcast or you can check them out on the YouTube channel as well. Or you can also go and listen to the Ratchet Broadcasting folks as they basically review like any big movie that comes out that week. And they also, do TV shows as well. They just did their Fallout Season 2 review. So you can go check that out if you want. I'm sure Marc and I might do like an abridged version of that. They're doing Scream 7 this week, which of course came out the same day as Resident Evil Requiem. So, that's a cool thing when you get two horror things at once. But we'll be talking about the video game side of things on that. But if you had any interest in Scream 7, and they definitely go fully in depth on that, so go check them out as well. But all right, that's enough for the housekeeping here. Oh, and also go check out the Outer Haven because they do great things, like where I just posted my Hermit and Pig review. And there is a link in the description to that and my Karen review as well. So if you enjoy hearing me talk, you can hopefully enjoy hearing me write or enjoy reading my writing as I can't talk today. And I'm thank you, Heavy Lunch Studio, for giving me a code and also for the kind words that you gave me for, the review that I gave the game as well. So it's my favorite game that I have played so far this year. Maybe when I get to Resident Evil Requiem, that will surpass that. But for now, Hermit and Pig is my favorite thing I've played so far this year. So that being said, I guess we should not further delay since we normally do start the show with what we've been playing. I guess, Marc, we could technically delay a little bit and talk about some of the other games you're playing that are not Resident Evil Requiem. How any further thoughts on Romeo is a Dead Man for you?
God damn it! My mic keeps muting itself.
I have to love that.
I really hate that game.
Hello. You hate that game. That is not great news.
Yeah. I discovered though that it's pretty easy once you can like figure out how to like tunnel, like get enemies through like a funnel and like have like a choke point, because then you can shoot them like all day long. There's like one big enemy that can't get through doors, which is hilarious. So it just like keeps running at the door. It can't get through it, so you just take pot shots at it constantly.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. I just like the leveling mechanic. I don't like the humor. I don't like the story. It's a lot easier now that I've upgraded a lot, but I still don't think it's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like chapter 8 of 9. Like, I'm not screwing around. Like, I've put a lot of time in this game, and I distinctly dislike it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank God I got Resident Evil, because it gives me something else to do. And yeah.
I mean, look, I kind of, when I saw it and you said you were playing that, I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those things where like Mark is not going to be a big fan. Probably.
If the mechanics were better, it'd be good. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, most of his games are not,
I mean, I've liked at least one or two of them.
Kind of just you like it for other things and you kind of forgive them for some of the other issues it has.
Right.
My thing with it is, like you said, it's like you would think that he would kind of evolve in the time.
This feels like a devolved, or he's gone back. So it's like, this ain't great.
Anything else you want to?
I played Marathon a little. That
the beta thing,
beta server slam thing. Yeah, I played it with Jens because he said he was playing it, and I'm like, why? And then I was like, nothing else to do.
Right.
It was really funny. So they dumped you into a training mission at the first part, and I had no problem with it. I just kind of did it and moved on. Like, got to like the hub area. And then he messaged me like 20 minutes later. And then we got into a group together. He's like, "Oh, how'd you get that gun?" And I was like, "I beat the mission." He was like, "What do you mean you beat it?" I was like, "Yeah, I hit the extraction button and only 2 enemies showed up and I killed them and that was it. I just waited for a minute and I got beamed up like Scotty would do." And he was like, "Oh, when I did it, 20 enemies swarmed at me." And I was like, "Huh, sucks to be you."
Right.
Because he died. And I was like, there was like 2 enemies and it was like super easy. So that game has UI problems and that it's confounding about what to do or how to get into a game. And we only did 1 match or 2 matches. One we sucked and one we did okay, but we left the third guy behind, which is funny. I don't get the point of extraction shooters, especially like a team-based one, because you're all like trying to get different loot for loot, so it's also competitive as well as.
Also, don't you lose your stuff if you die?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the cool rifle I had, and then you get like starter packs basically of like gear, because otherwise you'd have like a knife and that's about it. And like Jens basically said like this would be a really great single person game because he likes the look of it. And it looks kind of interesting, but like it's just an extraction shooter, so who cares?
Right.
I can hear someone's fire alarm beeping
off.
Yeah. So yeah, we played 2 rounds and that was it. And I was like, all right, well, time to uninstall this.
All right, Randy, anything besides Resident Evil you've been playing that you want?
No, I've had no other time.
Yeah, on to the main event.
All right, so without further delay here, Resident Evil Requiem. I guess I'll start with Mark's thoughts first, since Randy has a full grasp of the game.
I just got to say, my deluxe edition got delayed by a few days.
You got to love that.
At least I got
it. Amazon or whoever would, still give you the games that you pre-ordered on time?
Right. I mean, at least I got it. I think it got capped at 47,000 units per platform for the deluxe edition, which isn't a ton. a buddy of mine has got his pre-order canceled, so he was asking me like, how much you want to sell yours for? I'm like, I kind of want to keep it, you know.
Yeah, like I know.
It seems okay. I don't like the only thing I don't like so far is like the enemies can occasionally like regenerate, like the stupid Crimson Heads from like the Resident Evil 1, I think Resident Evil 1 remake. But other than that, it's pretty good. The blood replicator thing is hilarious. Looks nice. It's really forgiving with the auto aim, like hilariously so. I just headshot everything. And like it's funny because pretty early on, I'm playing as Grace. I'm basically like in her first big area, and Leon gives her his gun, which not exaggerating is like the size of her head, if not bigger. Like she's holding this thing up, you can barely hold it up. I mean, forget hand cannon. This is like hand bazooka. But yeah, it's good. It has like a lot of the same goofy, quest or like objective system of you got to find these 3 prisms or find these 3 keys. It's a fucking hospital would have this at all. But looks nice and looks and sounds good.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're liking it so far.
Yeah.
Randy, you have...
That's 10 out of 10 from Mark, man. I'm taking it. As a Resident Evil fan, I'm taking it.
I've liked a lot of Resident Evil games.
I know. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. Man, he liked Silent Hill 2, and now he's liking Requiem, man.
No, Silent Hill F.
Silent Hill.
Oh, that was it. You're right. You hated Silent Hill 2. You liked Silent Hill F. That was last year game. So, but still, a Silent Hill game, and then Resident Evil, man. We're doing good.
Yeah.
No, I agree with a lot of what Mark is saying. I don't have a problem with the blister heads as much as he did, but I like them in Resident Evil remake as well. That's what he's talking about, where you down a zombie and then some of them, if you don't take them out properly, will come back stronger and faster and far more annoying and a lot more deadly.
Right.
But it kind of makes you, they have different items that you can kind of make sure that doesn't happen. I do. My favorite thing from this entire game is just how different Grace and Leon play. And I think they set it up extremely well. No spoilers or anything, but like Mark said, you play as Grace a lot at the beginning, and it's more horror based, and you don't have a ton of ammo. You can still take care of things. You're not like absolutely.
I'm playing it on easy mode right now because I'm just trying to get through it like first, and then I'll go through it like later on. But I have a ton of ammo.
Even on normal, I was never like, oh my god, I have nothing. Like obviously the Requiem gun, you use very sparingly. Usually I save the Requiem gun just for the blister heads at this point, when I was playing as Grace.
Right.
It's more of a spooky game. The atmosphere is in that hospital is amazing with Grace, and then you get to play as Leon, and then just blow everything up. Like it's a bit more Resident Evil 4. You get a lot more ammunition. You get all the RE4 moves from Leon. You get all the crazy stuff, and you just kind of it's therapeutic to go. I was sneaking around these halls for like 3 hours, and now in 20 minutes I have eliminated every enemy. And now I can actually check out the hospital, and we can go on from there. They do a good job of kind of going back and forth from the different tones. Mark, I'm actually really curious because I do love that they have the option for it. I kept it original. Are you going first person with Grace, third person with both, or? Yeah,
I'm going first person with Grace. It's good and bad. Bad because I do have the cool Lady Dimitrescu costume, and I can't see it.
Yeah.
But good because like I read up on that stupid like Grace can't aim worth a shit in third person.
And I heard she like stumbles more when you're I haven't played it yet that way. I just really liked it because it was just a different feel. Like it felt like a different game when you were playing as a different character, and that really added to that as well. I think it controls real well. Mark nailed it. It's a beautiful game. Of course, the RE engine continues to just be fantastic. I love the hospital because it does give you that silly old RE vibes. Again, Resident Evil 2, you're in a police station that used to be a museum, and you had to come up with the most ridiculous ways to get in the doors. Grace has a hilarious line when she has to put something into a door of basically like, how did normal people get into this room before?
Yeah,
and they play off of it.
The room itself is like also like a parlor, like it's like a gambling hall in this mental hospital. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Again, Resident Evil is very campy, and they come up with goofy stuff. So you just, as long as you like take your realism out just a little bit and make sure it's just goofy fun, it's totally fine. But there's some goofy stuff in this game. Again, no spoilers, but the game really ramps up as you get going. And I will say this as a big Resident Evil fan, Resident Evil has a tradition that the first half of the game is better than the second half of the game. That tradition continues with Requiem. However, the back half of this game is still one of the best back halves of a Resident Evil game I've ever played. I have issues with it that I won't get into because we get into spoilers, and maybe once Mark gets through his playthrough and Sean gets playing on it, we can discuss it at a later date. But there are a couple issues I have in the second half of the game, some gameplay choices that they do that just pacing wise kind of makes it struggle there just a little bit.
Scott, what's going on?
But they absolutely crush it with the very end of this game. Again, the pacing really ramps up and it gets going. It's tough not to nail things on spoilers. I think the guns feel really good, even though you don't get a ton of choices on them. Again, it works really well with the way that Leon and Grace play differently. Grace, you are very much hindered with what you can carry. She does not her inventory system is not that great. And then you get to Leon and you have the whole Asha case just ready to go. And you can just almost grab anything that you want. So again, I just absolutely love the different feel of both. They do a great job. And I've heard it from other people. This is definitely a top 5 Resident Evil game for me of all time. It's definitely not 1. It's not top, but it's definitely top 5. And I think I like this one more than any of the modern ones right now. And that's big because I really love Resident Evil 2 Remake. But 9 is better than 7 and 8. And it is fantastic.
It's still not better than 6.
It is funny that you bring up 6 because there are sections of this game that remind you of 6, but they try to do it better. Anybody that knows me, my top Resident Evil game, I'll answer Scott's question, is the original Resident Evil 2. I have beat that game more than any other game ever. I learned how to speedrun that game, though I never was like fantastic at it. I absolutely love that game. So it's probably 2, then 4/4 Remake, because to me, it's not that big of a difference. A lot of quality of life differences, I think, in Remake. And then maybe 9. But again, I think I like 9 more than a lot of these newer games because they're able to take all the high action stuff that they were getting in 2 and 3 and 4 and get it with the spookiness that they got in 7. They tried that with 8, where each of the quadrants were different. But instead of like, all right, here's a fourth of the game where you're in the Lady Dimitrescu castle, and then here's the spooky dollhouse, and then here's the swamp, and then all the crazy action at the end. This kind of bounces you back and forth a little bit. So it for the most part, nothing stays a bit too long. Again, there's a section later on that I will not spoil that definitely battles that feeling that I have. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I told you before, 9.5 out of 10 for me. Because again, there's enough qualms that I have that I can't fully give it a 10. But this game is definitely going to be tough to beat as far as my game of the year. Very curious what it'll be for all of us, because again, there's not many games all 3 of us play. Yeah. And Mark so far seems like he's really, really enjoying it, and very curious what he thinks about some of the decisions that they do and some of the set pieces that you get to see and some of the boss fights that are in there. Very, very excited to see what you guys think as you get more and more into the game.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely hoping I can start playing it today and then be able to be consistent throughout next week. So I'll have, a lot more to say about it when we get there. And then, hopefully Marc as well. And we can, it, like you said, Randy, it's very difficult because like the times that we've all had the one game that we play that ends up being the game of the year most of the time.
Also, two real quick things, and then we can move on. One, I thought it was going to be really, really campy, but I absolutely love that the zombies in the hospital have personalities. I don't know why, because some of them are so over the top, but I just love them, like just moaning.
But it makes sense. Stuff. They're in a hospital. So.
And it's just like you see some boss guy and he's yelling that you're fired, and the maid is complaining that there's blood on the floor. And I love that if you kill a zombie and the maid is around, she will come and clean up your mess that you created by killing a zombie. And just stuff like that I absolutely love. And two, Capcom and Square Enix and anyone else, Hideo Kojima, all these guys that come out with all these trailers, basically do what Wolverine's doing and don't show us anything at this point when you know that we're going to buy your game. They spoiled something in that last trailer that I would have been beyond hype for, and instead I'm just waiting to get there.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Like, if that was a big surprise, then like my mind's blown. This 10 out of 10 game. I can't believe they did it. Instead, it's like they showed us that we're going back to the RPD. So
I mean, technically, didn't they like tease that in the first trailer?
Well, they showed it.
Yeah.
But it was just, hey, we're there. We're in Raccoon City, but you don't know what you're going to do. But the fact that they showed the scene of Leon walking into it, it's like.
So, yeah, they could have left that.
I won't talk anything past it, but I just really, really wish that the whole time we would have wondered, do we go there when they talked about Raccoon City? And then we get to the stuff that we get to instead of, hey, Leon's in there and he's going to reminisce about, his first day on the job. So that would have made it a 10 out of 10 game. The trailer did too much spoiling.
Yeah, they did have 4 very long trailers. So
I thought you were gonna mention you get the gunblade at the end, like in Final Fantasy VIII.
Again, I'm not gonna spoil anything, Mark. You don't know what you get.
Yeah,
there's a lot of unlockables at the end of the game. I'll tell you that.
I'll mention one comment, and this is about Romeo as a Dead Man. There are games that, like, when you face a boss, like when you beat the boss, you're like, "Oh wow, that was great," or like, "Wow, I accomplished something," or it'd be like, "That might be fun to play again to see if I can do better." Romeo as a Dead Man is the exact fucking opposite. Every time I beat a boss, and a lot of them take a lot of retries. My thought process was, thank God I don't have to do that fucking ever again. I can just move the hell on.
Yeah, I've had a few games like that where I'm like, please, I don't want to do this again.
And I know there is like some boss rush mode in that game, and I'm not going to touch that with a yardstick,
Hey, all those bosses you hated, now you can do them all in a row.
Yeah, and I'm sure you get some goofy infinite rocket launcher in this game, and like that would be fun because everything takes one shot, so that is fun, but not in Romeo as a Dead Man. It's just like, all right, I guess I just keep dumping shots at this thing forever.
Yeah,
but now I can move on.
All right, I mean, and Scott brings up a good point about we are still early in the year. You never know what could possibly surprise us. You always have those indies that become the big thing or whatever, or it could be the next baby steps that somehow wows certain people and or
and you get an hour-long argument on min-max or where to put it.
Exactly.
Let's be honest, the next game all three of us are going to play is Ace Combat 8.
I'm definitely playing Ace Combat 8. So but yeah, I'm excited to see it. There's always some cool stuff from Steam Next Fest, and I'm hoping that those demos still are out there, workable, so that I can play them and maybe write about them and be excited about them. So yeah, moving on to the actual news for this week. Some follow-ups from last week before we move on to like stuff from this week. again, just in case you are checking us out for the first time or whatever, they're wondering, hey, everybody's talking about it this week. Where's the news about Xbox and them, Phil Spencer going away and all that stuff? That was last week. We talked about it on the Monday show last week. We talked about it for a long time. So you can definitely go check out our episode last week and tell us what you think. Also, Sharma had an interview with Windows Central. Just Corden. He's one of the big outlets when it comes to Xbox. Kind of just he didn't press her on a lot of things, but he kind of does ask like what she means by return to Xbox, and she, does mention that like because she's also asked by Ryan McCaffrey at another time during the week about the gamer score thing and about why her gamer tag all of a sudden went up to like a bunch of she says that apparently her family plays on the same account and that her siblings were also playing games, and so that affects what that was. But she's not a gamer. She comes from the AI team, so she's having to learn. She's having to read up on what's going on, why the decisions were made, try to figure out where to go from here, right? And she mentions that Xbox players have thousands of dollars invested in money and time. It's incredibly important for me to understand that and protect that. I'm committed to returning to Xbox. So that starts with console, that starts with hardware. You'll hear more about that soon. We'll have some announcements coming up. You'll see us collectively investing here. We also know that there are a lot of players who aren't on console or hardware, and I want to deliver great games to them too. I need to learn more about what that can look like, what decisions were made, what we need to do going forward, and I want a little bit of time and space to do that. So basically, don't expect something to happen tomorrow. She's got to take her time in figuring this out. I kind of asked you all this question last week, so does this give you any other thought on, what is she? Do you feel like she could turn this around, or are we in that shameless Blackley statement of she's just here to, shepherd it to the end? Randy, would you?
Oh, I don't really. My opinion hasn't really changed from last week. I'm hopeful. Obviously, the video game landscape's better when we have PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo all trying to do their best to kind of get their footnote into the gaming history, and hopefully she can figure out what the heck is going on with Xbox. But again, she's even said it. It's not going to change in a day. No major things are going to be announced as far as changes to Xbox. And again, I think this was all strategically planned where she can come in. She will be under the cover of hopefully Fable and Gears and the Halo 1 campaign remake stuff. And people can go, hey, look at the games on Xbox while she learns about everything going on. And then in 2027, and we can kind of see what she has learned and the direction she wants to go. She is not going to be the one that goes, hey, I heard about this franchise, let's do that. She's going to look at this as a business and try to do business decisions, and hopefully they're good for the gamers and not what TKO is doing with the WWE right now, where it's all business all the time and screw the fans. So hopefully she finds a balance. But yeah, it's going to be at least a year, I think, before we really see any kind of big changes that she is going to start making.
Yeah, you're right, Scott. She does have taste. So she's saying that, she likes Chrono Trigger. The GOAT was mentioned, so that's good. Yeah, I don't expect her to do that either. Although, she could bring it up to Matt Booty, like, hey, I've heard a lot about this franchise. Why have we not done a Banjo-Kazooie at all? We own the franchise, probably some other games that could get brought up as well. She also mentions that they are not going to do the going into another avenue sort of thing. That whole kind of going back to what was supposed to be Sarah Bond's strategy of Xbox everywhere. We're on everything. This is an Xbox. She says that we're not going that route. We're going to focus on, have the developers focus on hardware, on console first. And then if we need to go into a different area, to explore something new, we'll do that, but we'll take the time to do that, obviously. Again, saying the right things, but Mark, you have any different thoughts after a week later?
Yeah, two things. Like, people herald Reggie Fils-Aimé even now as like some great Nintendo person, but he didn't come from a world of video games. He came from like Domino's Pizza.
Yeah.
I think the difference with him though is like he got very shepherded in to Nintendo by like other luminaries at Nintendo,
right?
Like Iwata or even Miyamoto. Probably talked to him at least once or twice. That helps, or that helps give some credibility. She doesn't have a ton of credibility, and the problem is whenever she opens her mouth, it comes across as that Steve Buscemi meme of "Hello, fellow kids" in like the high school. Like she just kind of feels like not authentic. And part of that is her history, or like her AI chops don't help. But I don't think she has a great plan necessarily for like Xbox. Like I don't think.
Well, we don't really know what her plan is right now.
Well, yeah, but like Sarah Bond's plan is bad, but she had one. Like, I mean, this wasn't like sprung on her like in the last minute. Probably, like she probably knew, hey, she's getting this Xbox job, and they didn't just shove her out the door and say, hey, you run Xbox now. Like, but so what's her plan aside from
but
we're going back to basics? But it's like, okay, but what does that mean?
I think they kind of had to be coy about it, right? They couldn't really just. I know Sarah was she had in her statement that she had been kind of working with Asha already and that kind of thing, but it's like, I don't think they really told her, oh, Asha is going to, usurp you and essentially take Phil's spot. I think they kind of left that part out as to what she was really doing.
Yeah. I know that, but like still, like it still seems like kind of up in the air. But
oh no, definitely, all of this is up in the air, honestly. But that thing is, like Randy said, she has time, right? This year is pretty much it's set. It's basically just making sure all this stuff actually comes out, or at least makes progress. In the case of Fable, that still looks like there's a lot of stuff left on the bone that needs to be fleshed out, and see if we can get it close to coming out this year, right? And like I'm not in a hurry for them to just all of a sudden tell me what their strategy is tomorrow. Like, take the time, figure this out, figure out how you're going to make yourself be able to move forward. The problem is that, Phil and Sarah kind of put her in a corner. Like, Microsoft has already seen the fruits of what happens with having the games be on PS5. So how can you decide that you're going to take that away now? You can't. Right? So what else is there for her to do that's going to make it to where, like, oh, I want to buy this Xbox now that I didn't want to buy before? And that's going to be really hard.
That's easy. Xbox with Copilot. Done and done.
Oh, yeah. That's what
all I know is at some point she can finally announce, after 25 years after the original Xbox was released, we'll finally get the Xbox 2. It's been a long time.
Right?
Motion Engine 2.0.
Well, all right. Moving on to Sony stuff, PlayStation stuff. Lots to talk about here. Just to get this out of the way, PS Plus stuff for March, which basically is out right now as you're listening to this. PGA Tour 2K25 Monster Hunter Rise. That's a pretty good Monster Hunter game there. Slime Rancher 2, another pretty good game there. And the Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road Collection, which gets you pretty much everything Elder Scrolls Online except for the stuff from this year. So if for some reason you still wanted to play, you would have been waiting to play Elder Scrolls Online, there you go. I guess you got to start right there. Any thoughts on this lineup here?
None.
I fell asleep for a minute. What'd you say?
Yes, and Scott's right. Xbox doesn't need to treat their third-party devs better. And that is one thing she did mention. Hopefully she does help get more games. Which, I mentioned it last week, but Sarah Bond did help a lot in getting the Japanese games over here. So, and yes, less developers skipping Xbox. One thing that had looked like was improving, but obviously, is that poll that came out not too long ago said that, developers are the lowest percentage of any of the consoles or PC goes to Xbox as far as people that are excited to make games for that console.
Maybe they can resurrect Scalebound.
It's for like I don't know how many times Kamiya has talked about that.
Right.
Could Asha decide to bring it? But he's already busy doing Okami 2 and all that stuff. So, well, the big surprise this week, Randy, is Sony just announced the release date for Marvel's Wolverine in a tweet.
That's all you can talk about. That's it. That's it.
September 15th, 2026. That's it.
Like, the one thing I don't understand, like, I'm fine with announcing the release date. You just had an hour-long state of play. You couldn't find 6 seconds to throw that in there?
At the end.
This did not get decided 5 days later. Oh, all right, here's our date. You could have just thrown it in there. Here's our cool date.
It was still up in the air.
They had to, I guess. But the fact that it's a video, I forget which podcast I was listening to where some people were saying that the ads on YouTube to watch the 6 second trailer were far longer than the 6 second.
Yeah. Oh,
reveal.
I'm sure.
It just,
I would not be surprised.
I don't like, we always joke. Everyone in the industry jokes about, this could have been an email. That's
yeah, definitely. The meaning of could have been an email.
Yes, the fact that it wasn't in the state of play is just mind-boggling to me. But great. I'm very excited for it to come out. And I very much still stand on what I'm saying. We don't need to see a lot of this game. Like, give us a good trailer around Summer Game Fest time to kind of get the hype. Don't show too much, just show what we're going to get our hands on. Mm. That's it. Like, that's all we need.
Yeah, don't spoil half the story.
Yes.
I actually kind of disagree partially in that I'm curious what this game actually is going to be. Is it going to be an open world game, or is it going to be like a linear story-based game?
Yeah, and as long as the trailer is about that, I'm sure there's going to be a state of play deep dive on it, as long as it's all on that stuff and not story-based stuff, then I am totally with it. Here's the mechanics. This is the way the game is going to be. That stuff you have to show. But as far as like, we don't need 7 trailers of story-based like cinematics.
Yeah, we do.
That's my thing.
You don't want to hear about the Jean Grey story mission?
I will when I play the game.
But I mean, like, does he really have a way for you to get around that this would be open world like that?
That's my question. Really, is like.
I guess they can give him a vehicle, but
motorcycle.
Yeah, they gave him his motorcycle. Yeah, technically.
But like, I kind of envision this to be like some big ass Spider-Man looking, world, and it's like, how do you really do that with Wolverine? Because he's a dude and he can climb walls, but that's about it.
I could see them not doing it for this one because it's the first game.
Maybe it'll just be like Crackdown.
Run and jump highlight like Hulk, yeah. And then maybe on the second game you kind of take it more open worldish or whatever, because Insomniac is stuck doing, if this sells well, they're just stuck alternating between, as much as I hate for them, stuck alternating between Spider-Man and Wolverine now probably.
Right.
But
man, they still got that Venom game that people still want for some reason.
Did that not get canceled or?
No, it did 2 years ago, I think. But people still pine for it, or they still think it's going to happen. It's like, why?
Yeah. There it is.
First off, Tony Todd is dead. Leave the man alone.
Right. Well, in other surprises here, which this is not confirmed by anyone. This is just like leakers that are good about leaking, essentially saying that we could have a new God of War game come out sometime late this year to early next year, starring Faye. And it would not be in the same style of God of War. It would be more kind of like Devil May Cry, so more action gamey. Instead of the typical Kratos type thing. this is coming from, Shepshel Nick, Nate the Hate. We are people that, not that they never get anything wrong, because they do, but they are fairly decent about, like, they get the basis of things correct, right? Of, like, this is happening, may not be the right time, may not be the exact same thing, but it's still the same concept of what was said, right? Or what it is. And that's kind of the basis of most of this, is that it's going to be based on God of War universe, that, this is, and it's not going to have the same gameplay, and who knows if it's going to be anywhere near as long either. But, it does kind of make sense, considering you have the new game that just came out, the TV series that they just showed like a first look of it on, which I don't know if you saw that, Randy. Kind of looked interesting.
It's there.
It looks AI as hell.
Yes, I do agree with that.
And then you got the trilogy that they just essentially announced. So this could help, like, tide you over game wise until you get to that trilogy remake and whatnot. Randy, what do you think about playing as Faye and having this game exist if it does?
It honestly depends on what they do. Obviously, she has a past as well. You see that a lot in the 2018 God of War. Like when I first heard about this, it was I instantly went to, well, she went on that same journey, because she marks all the trees and basically all the paths that you get in the 2018 God of War. Like, she created that path for you. So that's where my mind first went. It's like, all right, we're going to go on this path and get all these stories that the Kratos talked about his wife with, and we'll see where that goes. But if it's going to be a different gameplay thing, maybe more linear, I guess. I guess I don't understand the Devil May Cry gameplay difference, because to me, Devil May Cry and God of War are both just crazy action games. So I'm not seeing.
They're like very much different. The same.
Yeah. So I'm very curious what they mean by that. But if they do, I'm fine with diving deeper into the lore of these worlds that have been created in the God of War universe. And there's so many different ways you can go with it. Like, again, the Sons of Sparta game, while it looks kind of plain and it's fine, I have no problem with it coming out and just looking at the world of God of War. There's so many different stories that you can tell, and we got stuck in that multiplayer stuff for so long. So Sony is doing everything they can to go, all right, now let's just get games out there and show people, hey, we can still make games, I promise. So I have no problem with it, but I'm very curious which direction they would go with it.
Faye's gonna have 2 pistols.
Then I'm in. Marc sold me.
And a shotgun.
Scott does bring up a good point that they are kind of similar hack and slash gameplay.
Yeah.
So
I kind of had to remember who this character was. So I was like, whatever. Like, kind of really. But shouldn't it be called Goddess of War?
Man, maybe that is what they're going to do. They change it. Right?
Mrs. God of War.
Yeah.
Mrs. God of War.
I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent, but that last God of War game kind of left me cold also. So I'd probably be happy with like a Freya game, honestly, because I think she's a better character.
Definitely in that universe, I think. Scott says I'm down for the Mrs. God of War as well. But yeah, get on it, Tony Santa Monica.
All I can picture is Kratos with a bow,
right? Yeah. She goes and puts it on him and be like, okay, and now in your next adventure, you're gonna wear this the whole time.
Man.
Or maybe the game will be like how they meet or fall in love or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you get a little bit of that in the.
It'll just be an 8-hour dating sim.
As long as there's farming in it, I guess. Then
right.
Then we're good.
That'll be what covers it there. But look, if there is any truth to this at all, which there probably is, just we'll see if Sony actually corroborates it. Maybe around they usually do a state of play themselves before you get to Summer Game Fest because they like to be first Will they do any kind of reveal with that there? We'll definitely see if they do or not. But speaking of, considering the company that was working on a God of War multiplayer game that then got canceled, Bluepoint, we talked about them being closed last week by Sony. Now a new report from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg kind of lets you know that they were pitching different things at Sony and PlayStation to try to be able to stick around. Now, who knows how much truth there is to any of this? Did they pitch all these things, or was it just, all right, some of these things were mentioned and they're kind of making it seem like all this was actually pitched? But one of them was a Bloodborne remake, which, people have been wanting that forever.
It's just we start giving people what they want.
Exactly. And then also they mentioned doing a Ghost of Tsushima spinoff, which I'm pretty sure that got nixed very quickly because Sucker Punch said that nobody's going to be working on our games but us. Because, people have asked them, like, why don't you let somebody work on Sly? Why don't you let somebody do something with one of your other franchises? And they said, no, So I guess that's that. I doubt they would have let Bluepoint do the same thing. I mean, you think Sony made a mistake by not letting them do one of these things, or something else they may have pitched and said? Or
well, the rumor I heard, it wasn't Sony that didn't let him. From Software said no.
Yeah.
The rumor that I heard. But
that makes sense because they've always said Miyazaki said he wanted to be involved.
And I do kind of just secretly hope that somebody from Bluepoint wanted to for a wrestling term, shoot an angle with Jason Schreier because they knew they would get it out into the interwebs of like, everyone thought we were making Bloodborne. So I'm just going to throw out there, man, we tried.
Yeah.
We're not the bad guys. Just everybody hate them and feel bad for us. We were doing it. And secretly they had no plans on ever doing it. That's what I would do if I worked at Bluepoint and I got interviewed by Jason Schreier. Man, we tried. We had everything set for Bloodborne. We had it all built and all the game plan was set, and we were just told no. So feel bad for us, guys. That's what I would do. It'd be fun. But if it is true, it is quite the gut punch to those Souls fans that have been begging for this game. Every state of play, it gets predicted that we're going to see the Bloodborne remake. And the fact that,
it'd be funny if they did announce it now in the next set of play, just to like spite them or whatever. Like, oh, here, hey, we were making it. We're making it for sure now.
Yeah.
If you just release Bloodborne without an E.
Bloodborne.
Right.
But it won't have the same character. Oh.
Very colorful game.
Right.
But Jason Schreier comes up once again, and this time he says that he just hasn't written the article about this yet. But during his podcast, the Triple Kick podcast, which is a pretty good podcast, by the way, people should go listen to that for sure. He mentions that he thinks Sony is backing down from its putting their single player games on PC strategy. That it wouldn't be surprising if Marvel's Wolverine never comes to PC. Even if it eventually does, players would likely understand that a PlayStation is necessary to play the game, at least for the indefinite future. He also expressed uncertainty about how successful the PC releases have been, which we know that most of them have not been very successful. They've been diminishing returns every time. But obviously, the further and further you make the game away from when it originally released, you're going to probably get that, right? Especially once you get to the sequels. Once you get that original game, there's a lot of, we never had this on PC before. That's cool. But then the sequel doesn't do as well because that whole, nostalgia and newness kind of has worn off at that point. Mm-hmm. He did say this is not speculation. He just hasn't written that article yet, but, it is coming. And that, because it hasn't done that well, this is something that they can put back into the bottle. It will not affect them that much if they do decide to actually go this route and just not do the PC releases anymore. Also, the PS5 is going to be around longer now. So you might want to actually get people to buy the PS5s instead of just being able to know that those games are coming to PC at some point. Randy, what do you think about this? You think they're leaving money on the table? They need to be putting it on PC as well, or?
I mean, first I'll say I feel bad for the PC only gamers that if this is true, they won't get some of the Sony games down the line. But to me, it's not leaving money on the table. It's putting the headache away. Because like you said, these first single player games were not selling that great on the PC. And when they were released, it was full of bugs. That's all you ever heard was how terrible this port was. And then they had to spend the money to try to fix it. And they had to keep working on it. So they probably just went, you know what? And the idea of here's our game. Now we just put it on PC and we make more money. It's like, no, we put it on PC and then we have to spend more money to then be able to get it playable. So it just, to me, sounds like them going, you know what? We tried. It didn't work out. We're just going to focus on us because we're making our own mistakes over here at Sony. And we need to kind of clean things up there. So we don't need this headache on top of it.
What do you think, Mark? Similar thing there?
Kind of a little, but I think it's still a flawed. Like, they should be releasing it on PC, and too bad that they had a good team that could do PC ports and just fired them all. Like.
Well, no, Nexus is the one.
No, I know that,
around,
but
yeah.
Bluepoint also had a good hand in porting stuff over. I mean, and if one studio can't do it right, and it's proven they kind of can't, or they've had trouble, like, why? Hey, you have another one that can help shore them up,
Right.
But it makes sense. Like, Spider-Man 1 sold well, I think, but I don't think Spider-Man 2 did. Or like Days Gone, like, who's buying that?
Days Gone actually sold well because it was one of the first ones.
Right.
But
not enough for them to just go like, hey,
same thing happened with like Last of Us and Last of Us 2.
When they ported like
Horizon.
The remakes over, and it's like, oh man, like, ugh.
And Last of Us, I think one remake had a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe if they did it right the first time, it would have helped. But yeah, they're probably going to port their multiplayer stuff over because they think that's what makes money. And
I mean, Helldivers 2 did make money. 2/3 of the game was sold on PC. So,
Yeah, but the one does not prove the rules. Look at Concord.
Right. I mean, your game has to actually be good.
Yeah.
That makes a difference. We'll see what happens with Marathon here in this week. But yeah, honestly, we know Sony's never been big on this. When they did do it, not only the headache that you talked about with the bugs, the headache of if it were up to them, they would have left the PSN requirement in there. They would have left you have to have a PS account, and if you don't, that's we don't care.
Yeah, because that helps their PSN numbers, and that looks good to the investors.
So they were forced to because it literally prevented people that had bought the game from playing it. But they don't like that either. They don't like the fact that they kind of have to let PC kind of play by their own rules and do all that stuff. And whether it's true or not that Steam is going to be on the PlayStation 6, they don't want people buying the game like $20 cheaper on Steam and circumventing the PSN. They already don't let you buy the games in other digital stores or whatever. So why would they want you to do it on Steam if they can help it, right? So, I think it's one of those things where it kind of does make sense. They also need to kind of head back in the direction of making sure that it is console first. If your PS5 is going to be around till 2028, you don't want people thinking, oh, if I'm going to choose one or the other, maybe I'll just fork over some of the extra money and buy a laptop or a PC. Oh, no, I'm going to have to get this PS5 because that's never coming anywhere else. right? So I just don't think that it's a bad strategy. I get what you mean, Mark. To me, I love it if everything was everywhere and we could all play everything on PC and you don't have to worry about having the consoles and all that stuff. But the realistic thing is Sony needs to sell those PS5s. So, and not to mention like not having a set strategy too. Like you don't know when that freaking game's coming. Like 2 years from now. By then, who cares? Like if they would have had a strategy of, a year later we're gonna put it on PC. Okay, at least it kind of makes sense. But the fact that you never know when the game's gonna show up or whatever, it's like I'm not even counting on that. Who cares? So. I just thought it always kind of felt like they were doing it like half-assed, like somebody made them put it on PC and they never wanted to. So this gives them an excuse to just not do it. So, it's aside from all the things that Randy brought up that make sense, But we'll see. We'll see what if this ever actually, if they talk about it in an investor call, Herman Hulst actually discusses it, or Nishino. Or Totoki, if they ever bring any of this up and we actually get concrete, we've reconsidered our strategy about multi-platform or whatnot, because they did put Helldivers 2 on Xbox. Marathon is multi-platform, so yes, that's going to be on Xbox as well. But will Fair Games be on Xbox or any of the multiplayer things? Like,
don't worry, I'm sure that Horizon game will be.
Right? Yeah. Can you imagine that? If they did. But let's move on to Nintendo, which I feel like we haven't talked about in a while here because everything's been the other two for a bit. They did have that Pokemon Presents on Randy's birthday. They're on the 27th.
This is the worst part of my birthday.
Hey, at least you got Resident Evil Requiem on your birthday.
I know that. But I watched this stupid thing. That's not so stupid. I'm being mean, guys.
Pokemon Gale of Darkness XD is going to be on Switch Online, part of the GameCube Classics. I kind of like this game. I was a bigger fan of Coliseum, to be honest. So that's cool that it's coming. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on this or not, but Pokemon Champions is finally getting that release window, April 2026. I'm excited for this to finally show up whenever it does. It's going to be on Switch 2 first. Smart move by Nintendo, and then mobile later. They're gonna put the competitive battling play in this as the focus instead of like the mainline games, it looks like. And then the big one, the huge announcement is that, of course, Gen 10, it's here. It's real, even though they did like leak it a long time ago in that really bad, data mining thing. Pokemon Winds and Waves. So it's very much, air and water focused. And the difference here is that they actually showed off the starters in the first trailer. That never happens. They always tease you and then later on show the starters. But so you have a grass and flying, which would be the first time you have that as a starter. Well, not true. Well, can't remember. The owl or whatever, was that considered more like psychic and grass? But whatever. That's your it's called Brout. Has a big, I thought of Anthony Davis with the big and
because of the eyebrows.
Right, yeah, exactly.
All right.
And then you have the Pomeranian Fire Dog and the gecko, the water gecko, which that makes sense too. That's cool. I don't know how to feel about this because they always make this look better in the trailer. But the fact that it's skipping Switch 1, that's good. That means that they will take full advantage of the Switch 2's power. And you're going to have underwater exploration for the first time in a while. I'm sure you can queue up the memes of this is too much water everywhere.
Oh, from IGN?
Yeah.
I hope they play on that joke next year.
They have to.
And that's the best part.
Yeah.
That's the best part. I know we don't cover it too much here, but Pokemon Winds and Waves is next year. And Scott, has it on his had it on his fantasy critic and had to use his drop. I only say that because I know Scott's listening. So,
right.
That was the best part of the Pokemon Day period was Scott's team got messed up.
Yeah, they showed a lot of the water, like Scott mentions, a lot of windmills. Not just because it's a theme, but also that, I should also mention that the other two starters, Pombon is the Pomeranian dog, and then Gekwa is the water gecko. So, and they all look cute. They all look cool. I could choose either one, But
Mark, I don't know if you watched this. Are we going to just get Pokemon couples? What was the Pikachu thing? Why were the Pikachu couple in the middle of this thing?
Is that supposed to be like the parents?
I don't know. It was weird.
I'm just happy now that they got wind and water that we can finally summon Captain Planet.
All right.
Where's he been?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is going to be a while, but also I think people are forgetting that part of the delay, I don't think is necessarily give it this much time. It's also got another Game Freak is working on another game right now.
Yeah, the good side of Game Freak apparently is working on the other game.
So they need to get that game out the door first.
The graphics team for Game Freak is working on the good game.
Yes. Even though they said they're not going to push the graphics to a whole new level because we know how they work. But hey, at least as long as it looks good, that's what matters. Right. And they got even better news because this week, Pokemon Pokopia comes out. And it's right now the highest rated Pokemon game ever at 89 because the embargo dropped today. And I've seen people reviewing it. Watch the Kind of Funny thing with Greg and Jordan Middleton, and they had some great things to say about it as well. I don't know. Did this make you more excited, Randy? I don't know where you were.
I don't even know what. I've seen the name, but I see Pokemon anymore, and it just goes.
Well, this is kind of like their Minecraft, like Pokemon meets Minecraft meets some other things.
Do not show my daughter. We don't have
Dragon Quest Builders.
Just don't show my daughter, please.
I thought about that too. Like, do I want to show my daughter because then she's gonna want it? But they may be convincing me because I'm not a big Minecraft person or whatever. Or I did like Dragon Quest Builders though, and you put Pokemon on it, and it's like, I might bite the bullet on that for sure. Mark, any you need a reason to play your Switch too?
No, I don't.
No? Okay.
If there was going to be a reason to probably just be Metroid Dread or Metroid Prime 4 or whatever. So,
okay.
And that hasn't happened. So,
but still, that's crazy that it's even higher than any of the mainline games. I think, Legends Arceus, the first one was 83.
It's such a lie, though, because, back in the day, they weren't reviewing Pokemon Pinball correctly. So that's obviously the highest.
That's true. One. People did not, take advantage of how awesome that game was.
Yeah.
Whatever. But hey, still cool. I did not expect anything like that for this game. Right. I was kind of thinking like 80s, maybe 75, something like that. But man, if we're talking about like high echelon, like game of the year talk territory, that's pretty incredible.
89 is game of the year talk territory. Like what?
Hey, you don't know what kind. I mean, last year, yeah, we had 95s and 92s and whatever, but you had some in the 90 territory, 89.
I would put at least 2 games higher than that already, like Neo 3 and then Resident Evil. So
okay, Resident Evil, yeah, I don't know about everybody's going to say that Neo 3 is in that realm, but we'll see. I guess.
It's got good scores too.
Yeah.
It does have good scores.
Mm.
Really quick, going over to the January sales stuff for the month. You have stuff going up 3% year on year to 4.3 billion. So most people want to talk about where gaming is. It's still doing well. PS5 was still the highest selling hardware over Switch 2 in both unit and dollar sales, which is still very surprising considering Switch 2 is less expensive and it's new. You think Nintendo needs to worry about this at all, Randy, or it's just like, okay, we haven't even gotten to the Zeldas and Marios yet.
Yeah,
no need to panic.
Listen, they haven't hit their big hitters yet, and that's totally fine. And the one thing they will worry about is what I said when they first revealed it and didn't come out with a different name. It's like, yes, they have a 2 on it instead of a U,
right?
But parents still go, oh, and the fact that 90% of their games still work on the
Switch one.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the PlayStation. Now that they finally went, all right, we're going to stop supporting the PS4 finally, and now the sales of the PS5 are going up. So give it time, and it'll be just fine.
Yeah, and I mean, also, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
They should have called it the Switch Series 2.
The Switch Series X.
Yeah, okay. Or P for Pokemon.
I mean, also, you got those forever games don't help, right? If you can play all that stuff on Switch 1, what reason do you have to go over to Switch 2? Unless they have, if Donkey Kong doesn't do it for you, or even then, like I mentioned, when Mario Kart World doesn't really do that much, that's like so much better than Mario Kart 8 that you're like, oh my God, I gotta move over for that, right? Scott said Super Nintendo Series S and X. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you give them time, but also the truth is that people have less and less incentive right now to move consoles, right? Until they fully, when Pokemon Winds and Waves comes out and it doesn't work on Switch 1, I bet that's going to move a lot of people. So we'll see. But again, I got to bring this up. Like what the Switch 1 did is ridiculous. To expect the Switch 2 to do that's not a guarantee, right? So got to keep that in perspective too. Valve, got to bring it to the PC side a little bit. Valve is being sued by the state of New York. Not going to make this political, but somebody's favorite attorney general over there, Letitia James, is asserting that there's loot boxes in Steam games such as Counter-Strike 2 and Dota 2 facilitate gambling by encouraging players to pay for a chance to win rare items, similar to how a slot machine operates. Gambling is illegal in New York outside of certain exceptions. And then, this also mentions this article that she's also gone after Kalshi ahead of the Super Bowl for not, having the lack of same protections. And, that this also affects kids, obviously, because more kids play video games. And that, a well-known game publication claims that there are countless cases of kids using their parents' credit cards to be sucked into the world of microtransactions and loot boxes, some as young as 11. I could definitely tell you thank God I have not had that problem because I don't put my cards on my daughter's tablet for that very reason. But, she's told me many times, oh, I want Robux. Oh, I want this, so that she can then buy a little box that will hopefully get whatever it is she wants. And that's just like on the low end, right? Some of these things for even like the sports games are ridiculous, like the Ultimate Team, the VC for the NBA 2K, all that stuff.
I know we've had this conversation a billion times on this show, but this still boggles my mind where they go off. It's loot boxes and stuff. Again, like you said, the card packs in sports games are just as bad, if not worse. We can go the opposite way. Don't let people sell Pokemon cards in packs because it's gambling. It's the exact same thing. But people go to Costco and buy Pokemon cards. That's gambling because you don't know what's in the packs. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's a frivolous lawsuit that they're never going to win. and it makes no sense.
To be fair, we have had other countries actually be able to assert that they are gambling.
It's
severely hampered
gambling.
They severely hampered EA Sports FC in some countries from being able to do the Ultimate Team.
And trust me, as somebody that buys MLB The Show every year and just continues to go, they're not improving anything because all their money comes from cards.
Right.
I want them to go away. Like, I would love for them to win this lawsuit and, our sports games come back. The PS2 sports games were amazing every year because they had to do something different to get you to buy their games. Now
they had competition.
Yeah, with that too. But now they don't because it's like, hey, you just buy our game and then we have all these cool packs every year. And so I would love for them to win, but it's just hilarious. Loot boxes are gambling. So is any kind of card collecting in the world, and we're not dealing with it. So,
Mark, I mean, you're the resident PC guy. Do you think they have any kind of shot here against Valve with this?
No, because there's too many other games and things that do this as well. I mean, just so not unless you want to take on the entire game industry. And then that won't work because people just rise up against you.
Yeah, I wonder if they would try to do something like that, where it's like, okay, well, we're not going to try to go after your games particularly. Let's try to go after your store and prevent you from being able to have games that have that on Steam, period. How that would work out. And could they get that to become a law,
I mean, I have a friend, I think she's in like LA or somewhere, but like every day she's buying Pokemon cards. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she plays Pokemon.
The crazy thing is, I would say nowadays the majority of people that buy Pokemon cards do not understand the rules of Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah.
They just collect the cards.
Yeah.
And then sell them online.
Or they're trying to find the Logan Paul card.
Right.
And be the next one that makes $7 million or whatever. It also doesn't help that with the advent of now when Netflix has that the Ken Golden show and some other ones that have come out, with Pawn Stars or whatever, of just like showing you how much you can make off and obviously the scalpers and all that stuff, where Target had to put that thing in there where they just won't sell the cards in the store at all because they don't want people like coming in and camping out like crazy people.
Yeah, my friend literally camps out in front of Best Buy before it opens, and it's like, you're okay. Like,
these things are meant for kids, guys. It's just we don't have to go overboard with that. But look, we'll see if this goes anywhere. But probably for now, I would put it in the realm of I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. One that I appreciate. I don't know if this is going to go very far, but
they're trying.
Red Octane is bringing back the rhythm game with Stage Tour. The trailer that they had wasn't very long, but they're trying to bring back the whole kit and caboodle. The drums, the bass, the guitar, the vocals. They're all going to have their own instruments. You can use like keyboards and whatnot. They partner with Gibson as well to kind of bring back that old Guitar Hero feel of this. Red Octane are one of the originals here in making the rhythm games. They've also partnered with Epiphone and Kramer, and a lot of the old guard, like even the founders of Red Octane. One of them has come back to kind of be like a special counsel kind of guy. They've added a way for people to, bands to include their music in the game as well. If they want to, they can go sign up and kind of be given a chance for that. This isn't the first time this has been tried to be revived. Obviously, Rock Band 4 tried to do it as well. Almost 10 years ago now. Randy, you think this has any kind of a shot?
No. Simple no. They keep trying. It was a really cool thing 15 years ago. I still have these stupid plastic guitars.
I have them behind me there. Yeah.
So maybe if they allow those to work, if my Xbox 360 Guitar Hero guitar can work on this, then maybe I'll try it out. But no, nobody wants more junk. That was of the past where we collected all the plastic things, and it's just not the thing anymore.
I only partially agree. I think you're right about Guitar Hero. What they need to bring back is DJ Hero.
Well, Ubisoft killed that studio that made those games. So
no, I mean I know you like it, Sean, and I know Jens does too, but that genre is dead.
Yeah, I mean, okay. My only thing is with this is that Fortnite Festival has shown that you can have a niche product for this, and if Red Octane has niche product in their realm of possibility, that they don't need this to sell a bajillion copies to be successful, then I think it can exist, right? And if you are, set up things in a way where you say, okay, it's just going to have DLC. It's going to be, this many songs or whatever a week, or the way Rock Band 4 used to do it was like 2 a week or something like that. Or if you are very set out about how this is going to work, I think you can get those people that are now Rock Band 4 lapsed people because they don't have any new content coming out. I'm sure they're still playing. I see it on my Xbox screen all the time of those folks are still playing Rock Band 4 and whatnot. And if you make these a decent price also, I think that's another thing too. If this guitar costs $200 and then you still got to pay $60 or $50 for the game, I think that's ridiculous. I don't think anybody's paying for that. If you're doing a package like they did with the Guitar Hero, like the last one, the live, whatever, that's like maybe it's $100. I think you could get people. But again, if every single one of these, like the parts of it are $100 each, and you're talking about spending a PS5 worth to get the entire thing, I think that makes it really difficult for people. You've got to be able to make a bundle. I don't know if it's 150. I don't know if it's. You've got to be very price conscious of understanding that a lot of people don't have money right now. I don't know what your target audience is with this. If it's only the folks like me that are total nostalgia idiots about this, that somebody that's still thinking about whether I want to go buy one of those new guitars to be able to play Rock Band 4 again, because I can't play it right now because my dongle thing broke. So like my plastic guitars are literally just gathering. They're just there for show. That I can't even use them. But like I've thought about it because I have all these songs, right, that are just there on my storage that it would be cool to play again. But like you said, Randy, I think it's like how many of those people still exist that are going to be willing to not only give the game a shot, which yes, they said you could play with controllers like you could Guitar Hero back in the day.
No one ever did.
When you only had, I mean, for me, there was only one guitar controller. I did have to use the actual controller, and it worked fine. But yeah, it's still not the same experience. But I think this is a cool idea. I really hate to see it like crash and burn, and I have a feeling that, like you said, Randy, it's just I don't know.
I mean, one other big problem is they're not going to have the music rights. I mean, you talked about like, bands can sign up to put in their music, but what band is going to do that? Because they want to get.
Well, I mean, indie bands, right? It would have to be like indie rock bands.
Yeah, but people don't care about their music unless they're like a specific fan of that band.
Right.
So I mean, you're not going to get like the Beatles, obviously.
You're not. You're not going to get any of those.
Right.
But, I mean, you might get some folks. It has to make money, obviously, because Red Octane. That's how you wind up spending a lot of money too, is start getting it all tied up in music rights, and there goes all your money if you're not making anything.
I mean, that's why the first two Guitar Hero games were used covers.
Right. Yeah, you'd have to use. Would they be willing to use covers again? Are people more open to that now because of YouTube existing and people making covers of everything all the time? Who knows? But I just thought it's a cool idea this exists, but I don't know if it's actually gonna work out or not. Starfield's actually coming to PS5 apparently now that Biblicune has come out and said it, and he's saying April 7th is the date. Circle it on your calendar. And once again, just like Avowed, this is going to have a cheaper standard edition where you get it for $50, and then there's the premium edition for the $70. That's what the game cost originally. Isn't this one of the things that if you're Asha Sharma, shouldn't you be like looking at that and going, why are we giving PS5 players a discount? Or is it because look, this game's already like 2 years old, who cares? Or
that's probably it. What is it on Xbox right now?
I would say it's still, I don't know.
All right, because that's the thing. Maybe it's not a discount. Maybe it's just going to be $50 at that point, and they're just bringing it out at the same thing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It also did kind of bombed. So if they tried to release it at $70, as the regular price, people just left them out of it.
It costs $70 on Steam right now.
Steam's different. Cause it launched on Steam, or that's No,
I'm just saying they don't have it at a discount right now.
Right.
So, but you are trying to get the PS5 people that have waited this long to play it, to try to bite and play a game that they've heard is not a lot of great stuff. So the way you get that is like they did with Avowed, where it's like, okay, give them a discount, see if they'll bite and buy it.
I might give it a shot if it ever gets low enough, just out of morbid curiosity. But that's pretty much about it.
Yeah, because you like those kind of games. So
yeah.
Did you ever play this, Randy? Or I don't know.
No, absolutely not. And I won't on PlayStation either.
Fair enough. One game
you're saving up for Forza Horizon 6. We all know this.
Yeah, I agree.
I forgot to mention that Forza Horizon 5 is still number 10 in the best-selling charts for this month, for January. Hey, PlayStation players really want that Forza Horizon, man.
Don't have a lot of other things to play other than Resident Evil.
I'm just saying, they are doing a good job of getting people to go and play that game. And interesting that there's already been reports of there's a new Gran Turismo in development. So how will that be when it comes out? If Forza Horizon 6 is already out and that becomes the new de facto big racing game on PlayStation also.
Those are two different masters you're trying to serve. So
yeah, right. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
But hey, at least Black Ops 7 is still number 1, even though it's supposed to be it is not a great game, but
right.
Shows you the power of Call of Duty. Code Vein 2 is number 11. So, although Jens isn't a big fan of it, right?
No, he didn't. He hasn't played it yet because his house is still falling apart.
Oh,
I'm sure he will eventually.
Well, one game that I was looking forward to playing this month has been delayed for a month to April 16th. Mouse PI for Hire. Of course, that's the indie game that kind of has the old 19
it's the Steamboat Willie FPS game.
Yes, exactly.
They keep delaying that. That's been shown for a while. So
yeah, they had that whole big documentary on it last year as well. So, and I hope that doesn't mean bad things for that game because I really want to play it.
To me, at least, they're still giving dates. Right, we're not in the Mina the Hollower stuff where we were a couple of weeks away from that game coming out, and they're like, we're delaying it indefinitely, and now they're like, it's spring. We don't know what date yet, but it's coming. At least this was, hey, we thought we were gonna get it all polished up. This is a game that has to hit quickly, because then you have to kind of get that word of mouth, because I don't think it's going to sell a ton right off the bat.
Right.
It's going to be like Cup. I mean, obviously, the good comparison is Cuphead, because Cuphead looked really cool, and then people played it and went, "Oh, it's actually really good," and then it was able to kind of take that next step. If you have this come out, and the few people that do play it go, they just missed the mark on it, and this was buggy, and this was that, and then nobody will buy it, and it just kind of dies. So I honestly have no problem with it going back a month. I was looking forward to it as well. It does kind of get pushed back into a very busy April now.
Yeah.
It was some other games, and if it comes out in that month. But honestly, I've always said, just bring it out when it's ready, and then we will give it a try. Just be careful what's coming out around it. But
they can't afford for it to kind of come out and die. Like, this is now one of the indie darlings of the year. Like, it has to be good. So, but all right. We couldn't have Randy on without talking about some bad things with gaming, unfortunately.
No, we can skip this news. It's fine. We can make it one episode without me having to talk about the L word.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Skate devs, apparently, this is really not a surprise. Kind of, sort of, because it seems like a lot more people liked Skate than, disliked it. But, Scott brings up Dynasty Warriors 3, the remaster thing, that did have the same thing happen to it, where it just kind of like, oh, we have no idea when this is coming out now. But the Skate devs, we don't have like an exact number of how many people got laid off, but they did lay off some folks. Some roles have been impacted, changing the team structure and stuff like that. This is a game that's seasonal, so interesting that you would lay off people, because essentially you have to make new content for that game all the time. But it didn't hit as well as I think EA wanted it to, obviously, Mark. So,
I mean, it's pretty buggy when it came out.
Yeah.
And like, you said there's kind of some positive buzz around it, but I never really saw that. I know like one guy liked it, and I don't trust him. So,
well, we know what guy liked it. Randy, Mike liked it. Kind of funny.
No, I think I was thinking Kyle, but same thing.
Yeah. What is Mike on Kind of Funny not like? That's what I've learned. It sucks. I mean, obviously, it's the risk you take. You want to get into early access so you can see how it's going to perform online, and there's going to be bugs. But then that's the problem, because then a lot of people look at it as a release, and there's, oh, it's buggy, and then well, it's not fully out yet. We're testing things, so it's the weird.
Yeah, but even like the content wasn't there either.
No, I agree.
So...
and again, but it's that weird way that we do early access now, where this could be early access for 5 years, and then they go, oh, no, it's good, and you're like, but what did you do? So it sucks.
I mean, and to be fair, EA is essentially kind of changed the game from what it was to make it become this seasonal structure, so they could try to maximize the like live service aspect of it. And
trying to get the money from it didn't work, and now people lost their jobs because of bad business decisions.
Speaking of also bad business decisions, Nacon has essentially done the French version of bankruptcy, and they have filed for insolvency, actually, and they had to delay their Nacon Connect, which is like where they announce like they give you like the preview of what their games are, the games that are going to come out and all that stuff. Their like little showcase thing, which makes sense if you're going down this route of their major investors are having a problem, and now they they had to declare that their assets are not substantial enough to meet its due liabilities. So they had to go file for this. And you can't have a showcase when you owe a lot of people money.
Fake gamer here. Who is Nacon?
They used to be Big Ben Interactive. They own 11 studios. One of them is the Daedalic, which is, the folks that made the infamous Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Oh, so that's why it's going on.
But they also make that Styx franchise that just had a second game release, which is fine. But then they also released that Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, which is terrible. So
they also put out those RoboCop games, the 2 recent ones.
Yeah, the RoboCop games. They're working on that Terminator Survivors game.
Gotcha. Just never heard of them, so I thought
Greedfall is actually pretty decent, and there's a Greedfall 2 in development. Edge of Memories.
I've heard Hell is Us is pretty decent, actually. Also,
yeah, Hell is Us came out last year. That got a lot of buzz.
I got you.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, though, Randy? You're the sports guy. You haven't played AFL 26?
That game, those AFL games would never go on sale, or I would play it. I am a big AFL fan. Yeah. Those games look god awful, so I really want to try them, but they are always full price. Like years, it's like Nintendo. Years later, I just go, I want to try one of those AFL games. As an Aussie Rules football fan, let me try. And it's always $70, $60. Like, there. So, no, I have not tried that game yet.
In our last story here, something that kind of felt inevitable once Paramount started being very pushy about how they were going to increase the price and all this stuff. They have done so to the point where Netflix dropped out of this deal to acquire Warner Brothers, and Paramount has de facto become the company that will fight to acquire them. Of course, this probably has who knows what kind of effect it will have on their Warner Brothers gaming studios, even though they've already come out and said that basically don't expect anything from us this year. 2027, 2028 is when we're going to come back with all of our franchises to be awesome again. We'll see. We'll see if, their new owners even give a crap about video games at all. But one of the things to come out of that is that apparently Paramount Plus and HBO Max are going to merge. So you're going to have one big streamer.
People will finally care about Paramount Plus, huh?
As a sports fan, I disagree with that. But sure.
As a guy that watches Survivor, that's really all I watch.
all I know on Paramount Plus is Star Trek, and it's a miserable failure. So,
I guess I'll get HBO Max again. All right.
Yeah, I watched Tulsa King on there, but I do
Stallone show.
Yes,
never watched it,
but it's actually pretty good. But mostly what I watch on there is the soccer. So, the Wrexham and the Champions League and stuff. So, yeah, I have a reason to have it. It's also not that expensive. But then they just went up again. $2.
Yeah,
it was very unexpensive. It was like $6, and they went up to like $8 or something.
Yeah, well, good because I have to buy Warner Brothers, so they have to.
I saw they're going to be like $75 billion in debt because of this deal. It's like, yep, that'll go.
Yeah, and then also like as somebody that watches a lot of HBO because we're old people now, and my girlfriend likes to watch the house renovation stuff, and then I love watching like ID stuff. So I'm hoping that this finally means we're also going to freaking combine the stupid Discovery Plus crap and stop having that thing be its own streaming service too. Like you have so many episodes of stuff that's like all around. Like HBO Max has half of it, Discovery Plus has the other half. Like, dude, just put it all into one stupid service. Like it's unnecessary. If you're gonna combine all this stuff together, just put it into one service.
No, but Sean, Mark just said they're going to be in a big debt after they buy these studios, so they need you to subscribe to 7 different things. So they have a chance to get this money back.
They'll combine it all. It'll just be $80 a month.
That too.
Let's not do the ESPN thing. I'm still like, hey, we have the WWE pay-per-views, but you have to have this one giant package of all the other crap you're never going to watch your thing.
I watch Hulu more than I watch Disney Plus. So the Disney Plus just sits there and I never use it. And then ESPN, because everything is on Hulu, I just end up watching the games through there too. So but yeah, no, I could definitely see that happening where Paramount just remember they also own Showtime as well. So like now they could just put HBO, Showtime, Discovery, Paramount, all the Paramount stuff, and then be like, oh yeah, we could definitely make you pay $30 a month for this. So
Don't worry, Stars will always remain independent.
Yeah, Stars will be the one out there. Not to mention what this means for CNN, considering that the Ellisons are very conservative leaning. So we'll see what happens on that. But do you think this actually goes through? Considering what this means for like the movie studios.
I think it does. I don't think it should. Yeah. Or, you know.
Right.
The one positive to me is, you know, hopefully more physical like DVD and Blu-ray releases will be coming out. That's like the only positive. Yeah. Like one positive against 10,000 negatives isn't exactly a winning proposition.
And they will stick to the 45-day theatrical release schedule. So that's one thing that will help the movie studios that were freaking out about Netflix owning it, because that meant that they were going to shorten that window.
Yeah, Netflix sucks with... I saw Knives Out 3 in the theater, and it was in theaters for like 6 days. It's like, what the hell is this?
I mean, they want you to go watch stuff on Netflix, so, you know.
I don't want to. I'll just bootleg it.
They got to justify these prices, Mark, you know. Not only they got Raw, they got.
Or I would rather just buy a DVD of it. Like I bought the DVD of Queen's Gambit.
Right. Fair enough. You're probably one of the few people that did that.
Yeah, because they didn't release it. It's like an Emmy for reconsideration DVD.
Yeah.
So it's like extra weird on top of it.
But all right. I mean, so do you guys think that the gaming division will actually still be around?
They got to make money. So I don't know what Paramount will care about it.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think they'll care about it. It'll just be like some line item or just some, you know, it's not going to be CNN. It's not like the prestigious thing, you know.
Yeah, he brings up a good point about like they should have really, especially with like something like K-pop Demon Hunters that made them so much notoriety. If they would have kept that in the theaters, who knows how much money you make. You know, people like those big event things to go to theaters for. So, you know, look at the way the anime movies are kicking butt in theaters, and even doing like, oh, you can watch the first 3 episodes of the new anime series in the theater. People will go watch that, you know. So should have done that. Stick to it. Like I could definitely see them doing more of the movie crossover thing. Like, you know, I think we're gonna definitely see them try to do more of the Mortal Kombat thing, where it's like, how many more of these game franchises do you have that can be a TV show or be a movie, and then we will justify allowing a game to be made with it. But, you know, I would worry about things that are not Batman and Harry Potter or whatever that may be tied to those studios. Like, will they ever get a game see the light of day? So, you know, that does worry me if you're more of the purist about, like, I want to see them make games that are not just those franchises continuing, but we'll see as long as they keep doing well. And yeah, I forgot One Piece season 2 comes out.
Yeah, this month. My daughter is hooked on season 1.
Oh, the live action?
Yes.
Yes, it's great.
She came out saying, I started watching One Piece, and I went, there's like 1,000 episodes. And then I noticed she was watching the live action. I went, okay.
Yeah. Well, Netflix is going to do their own like remake of the anime too. So
yeah, she is hooked on that show right now.
I say, well worth it. It's a really good show. So, but all right. Anything else you guys want to bring up before we get out of here?
Nope.
No, I think we hit it.
Okay. So let's go ahead and I guess talk about the stuff that's coming out in March. Can't believe we're already in March, guys. Scott Pilgrim X is out today. Did you play this in the Steam Deck Fest, Randy? I saw some.
No, honestly, I didn't get to play any of the Steam Deck stuff. I asked Scott actually if he liked it, and it sounds like it's going to be really good. So.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things with this. Esoteric Ebb also comes out as
that's getting amazing reviews too.
Yes, that is out today as well. Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered is out on everything as well. The Himura Hime like action anime kind of thing is also out on the 4th. That looks like it's going to be good as well. And trying to think if there's anything else here that I need. Marathon comes out on Thursday on, all 3 systems, on PC and console. Pokemon Pokopia also comes out on Thursday for Switch 2. Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf. I love Planet of Lana 1. I don't know if you played Planet of Lana 1, Randy.
I know. Hopefully they're okay.
Yeah. I think she's trying to feed the cats and the food thing may have like fallen or something. So yes, Final Lana 2 is going to be awesome. Hopefully that comes out. Slay the Spire 2. Yes, love Slay the Spire 1. It comes out on the 5th as well. I hope that it's just as good. I don't know if it's going to do all of the crazy stuff that the first game did where it became like a phenomenon, but as long as it's still a good one of those, I am happy still. So hey, there's some good stuff for that first week of March already. So we'll see. So until then, thank you, Scott, for watching live and, watching, commenting along here. We appreciate that. Appreciate all of you that watched live or later or listen later. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Later.